You're kicking it with G on your favorite station.
The perfect station.
92 KELZ, the only station with new music, new artists, new sound.
It's so important that we have our guest with us today.
Definitely.
The one and only Mr. Steven Richmond.
What's going on, everybody?
It was like a sign. Everyone was like,
Okay.
Right.
I was building up the anticipation. Jeez.
I appreciate that. What's going on, everybody?
Good. How are you? Thank you for joining us today.
I'm wonderful. It's been an eventful day already, so I'm appreciative.
Yeah, you were actually telling us off air that you are pretty busy.
Extremely busy. Thursday and Friday is kind of like, I guess you can say in the entrepreneur world, an off day, but it's like my slower days where I'm either not cooking or having any action. So, but yeah, busy is an understatement.
But that's gonna be a change, though. It's gonna be you're gonna be busy 7 days a week.
I need to be off something. I need to be able to sit
12
down somewhere.
months out of the year.
Sunday.
Right?
So, okay. All right. Before we even get into what you do, who are you? Tell us a little bit about Steven.
Sure. So, I mean, my name is Steven Richmond, but everybody calls me Rich, I guess, because the name of the company is Rich Fit Foods. So, owner-operator Rich Fit Foods. We'll be 4 years old in April. I have a full 100% delivery and mobile catering service. Myself, I'm a family man. I got 2 kids. Believe it or not, I have an 18-year-old, and I also have I have an 18-year-old son.
Oh, wow.
And I have a 9-year-old daughter, love of my life. So, love both my kids. Definitely a family person, deeply rooted in my family. As far as my company, I definitely learned the cooking tool from my father. He's the chef. He's the one with the cooking bug. I mean, his hamburger helper will probably have you gnawing off your fingers, right? So I learned from him after watching him for so long and just started the company almost 4 years ago, like I said. And really, it kind of fell in my lap. I was selling cars. I had 15 years of sales background. I was a sales manager at Gilman Honda. Made a lot of money, but was unhealthy, was about 75, 80 pounds heavier.
Wow.
And so I started meal prepping. I was following about 15 or 20 different influencers at the time. I started cooking, making about 15 meals a week. I lost about 35, 40 pounds inside of like 2 or 3 months. And every week that I'm posting it, or like on Sundays when I'm making the meals, people were like, well, how much are you charging for that? Or do you deliver? Or that looks good. You know, can I get that? So I got with a young lady that helped me put my business together. Got a shout out to Christy Staples. Her company is called Get Lunch. And we literally put my business plan and my entire business together in 28 days.
Wow.
We
that's
launched
pretty
it.
That is quick.
That's fast.
Yeah, we put it together. And I'm talking about full website, ready to go, PayPal ready,
Oh,
everything.
you was on it. You had.
I had a whole
vision
commercial ready.
You was on
Yeah,
it.
it was everything. So I launched it from my apartment. I had my trainer at the time. I had close friends and family. My mom was there to support. I had about 15 to 16 people there, and I made like $400 that day. And I was like, "Oh, it's a wrap." Like this is
He's
all
like,
I gotta
I'm never
do?
going
So
back.
when did you actually get back to food? Because you say you start off with your dad as a chef. You know what I mean? Like learn the food business from him. Like of course everybody like I ain't gonna be no chef. That's everybody like.
I literally said that to somebody too. I mean, I'm not doing no catering company. That's crazy.
Like so, how did you get back to that? Like what brought you back to that? Like you know what this is what's gonna happen. Was
So-
it just the hit ups or was it more like a?
I'll be honest with you, man. The whole experience of being able to change our culture is what really kind of hit home for me.
dope.
Most of my mom's side of the family is diabetic, so my son's diabetic, and he's 18. He's had it for 5 years. So he's a youth diabetic. He's type 1, where he's insulin dependent. My mom's type 2, and a host of other, cousins, uncles, and aunts on my mom's side. So that was first and foremost. I was unhealthy on the time, but I started to realize that there was a change for the community. There was a change I can make in the community. And I was like, you know what? I'm definitely going to do this. This is something that I can do. And I kind of just embraced that, and then it just took off from there.
Oh, that's dope.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. So you said you started out in sales
Right.
at a dealership,
Correct.
which if most people don't know, that is almost an easy shoe-in because you were working for who?
Gilman Honda at the
Okay.
time. And
You think,
First of all,
you think,
everybody-
you think that's an easy win?
Well, let me tell you, I worked for a dealership, okay?
Well, maybe.
When you got a flow and you already know how to get them in and get them out and you hit that quota, that's an easy 100,000.
I was making well over 6
I swear,
figures,
I
no
always
problem.
thought
That's an
selling cars was
easy,
gonna be hard.
comfortable. And then,
It was not a hard gig. The hardest part was the first part when I actually started at Gilman Acura on the north side, and then I transferred to the south side because I live a lot closer to Gilman Honda. But I mean, Charmaine said it right. Like at the end of the day, if you know how to have a flow and you know how to get them in and out, it's a 2-hour process from the minute I meet you to have a great day and you're going about your business. And I can do 2 of those a day, 10, 12 times a month. That's 15 to 20 cars a month. Quota was like 12. So anything outside of the 12 cars, that's just easy
extra.
money. Spiff cash money coming to you every Saturday. Oh, it was ridiculous.
and the reason I say that is because you went from that to cooking. Men don't, first of all, want to cook for themselves.
I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. Before we even skip past it, y'all making the car salesman look great right now. Like,
no, but
there's some people listening like, you know what? It ain't. I almost.
But it's a tough gig, though.
It's not easy. You got to
10 to
pretty
12
much
hours
sell
a
your
day.
soul to be in sales.
Okay, I
you
just
really
wanna throw
do.
it out there for y'all.
And don't let it be luxury because your life is over.
Throw it out there for y'all. Like,
You ain't got a life.
6 days a week, 12 hours a day.
And then they call you.
You better be getting paid
all
good.
day.
Yeah.
You better be getting paid
You might
good
get
for
there
them.
at 8 and not leave till 10, 11 o'clock at night.
See?
And that's 4 or 5 days out the week, guaranteed. Especially on the weekend. You can kiss some weekends goodbye.
Goodbye. You have no
No
life.
Personal life along with it.
See?
It doesn't sound good anymore.
Well, we gave you the pros, now we give you the cons.
Let me
It
just,
doesn't sound good
the
anymore.
money, no life. I mean, it's up to you.
That is how I go.
That's pretty much how it is. No, but you went from that to doing something that most men don't want to do in the first place, which is cook.
Yeah.
I mean, not to like simplify it, but you went from making money, kind of being cool, being around cars and everything, and then you went into cooking. And at first it was something for you as far as a life change for you. So you
Right.
did it for yourself so that you could, get it all together and be healthy, thinking about your family. But what was the thing that, outside of the money, what made you go, okay, I can do this full time?
I think the thing that made me say, I could do this full time was the freedom, first and foremost, right? Peace of mind is better than any amount of money. Now, of course, you got to make money to pay bills and live. So we're not in the Stone Age. But the freedom to say, hey, I can make some serious amount of money, change the community, and still kind of do this on my own terms, and I control the narrative, that was like a big kicker for me.
Yeah.
So, it took some time to kind of get into the groove of understanding entrepreneurship, making sure that the return on investment made sense, either hiring a staff or trying to figure out what's the most cost-effective way to do it.
Yeah.
But all in all, it's an OJT, like anything else, is on-the-job training. So I started to learn things at a quick rate because my business didn't just kind of subside and then take off. It took off immediately.
Yeah.
And, I went from doing 10, 15 meals a week to like almost 100 in a matter of a couple of months. And those are big numbers for someone that had no prior, I wasn't posting food on Facebook or Instagram. I didn't, come from that or anything like that. So I just literally launched it based on the social media presence that I had. And my guinea pigs were the people at the car dealership.
Yeah.
And then it just took off from there. Friends and family did massive amount of support, and they still do. Shout out to all my people that love me to death.
Yeah, that's dope.
And it just kind of went from there.
That's dope.
I like that. Now, okay, so when you talk, so with this, I know because you have to do, there's different types of clients that you have, right? And you don't only cook, you also have some training background, right? You
Right.
train people
Absolutely.
as well. So when it comes to picking out meals for your clients, what's that process that you take them through?
So I do like a 10 to 15 minute consultation, try to figure out what their needs are. If they have a certain type of need or diet, keto, vegan, vegetarian, hey, I just don't cook, I need meal replacement. And then I'm also touching on their budget because everyone's budget is different. Some people want to spend $150, $200 a week. I have a lot of those clients, and I have some people that are cool with $40, $50 a week. After I find out their needs, find out what they're looking or want to spend, then we kind of tailor or dumb that down to figuring out what on my menu works best for you.
Oh, so you have certain combinations that can target certain things that you really want to do.
Oh, yeah,
That you
absolutely.
Oh, that's dope.
It's not a one-stop shop because if I did that, I'd probably be out of business or I'd be hurting. So, so I try to target what their needs are and what works best for them.
Because I feel like
first.
that's where some people like fall short because they see like, oh, this is what you get. Like I can't really do anything, and have that tailored to certain needs and budget. I think that's a big thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my whole menu is a foundation for what I have, and then you can customize anything on my menu. And I think that kind of sets me apart from a lot of other meal prep companies because I don't have set meals, and then you have to buy that meal and buy this meal. I have everything's a la carte, and then pricing is based on what their needs are. So if that's out of your price budget, I don't necessarily quote unquote lower it, but I figure out what works best.
Have you had any special requests from like certain clients? They're like, I want this.
All the time. All the time. At first, and believe it or not, I was very ignorant to the vegan world, right? So when I started
A lot of people are.
April 2016, I was like, I was just adamant about not doing it. And one of my friends, like a year into the business, was like, do you know the amount of people that can to really put money in your pocket? That's a whole nother world. And I was like, really? And so I started to study. So I actually went on a grocery store tour with a young lady that followed me, and she charged me X amount of dollars to stay with her for 2 hours and walk around the store to figure out what's vegan, what to look for, what vegans like, what you can do to benefit yourself. And after that, like, it kind of took off from there. And then as I started promoting and talking about it, then it literally went up from there.
That's dope.
But I was very ignorant to the vegan world. So
Did you have
That
to
is a
take
big
any
world.
extra like cooking classes or anything like that?
I haven't taken any cooking classes, but a lot of entrepreneurial leadership classes,
Okay.
mentorship classes, small business classes. I've taken a lot of those.
You know, a lot of people, Dr. CV, you know, a lot of people talk about him. Has anybody like try to come to you to try to get you to tailor something around his thing? Like, do we
Not
really
yet.
know what his recommendations were?
I don't know all
things
his
being so
recommendations. I don't personally study him, but I do know about him, and I've listened to a few of his like I wouldn't say speeches, but a few of the things that he talks about. I haven't had that specific request, but I get all kind of requests, like keto diet requests that are off the wall, or hey, I'm seriously.
What's
and
the
then
craziest thing that you've gotten?
The craziest thing that I've gotten, I think vegan when I first started doing vegan because I didn't know the route I wanted to go. But in car sales, and I always fall back on my sales, I'm always up for the challenge. So I had to do some research before I said yes. I was like, okay, let me look into that. And I got back with him like a day later, like, this is what I can provide and this is what I can do. I can provide X amount, like these 8 or 10 different combinations that work. And they were like, yes. And Pinterest was my best friend. So off of Pinterest and doing some Google research, I was able to kind of put together a quick vegan menu for this. I think it was a school teacher, if I'm not mistaken. And he is still a client.
Really?
Yeah. So he was like, I wouldn't say test dummy. That sounds so bad, but guinea pig would
But
be.
he was.
Yeah.
It was like, let's see if you like this. Oh, you like this? Okay, great. I
Right.
now do vegan meals.
Yeah, and
Right.
and I have a lot
Put
of
it on
truck
me.
drivers that are vegans, believe it or not, because they're trying to be more healthy.
I think
'cause
everybody's trying to go vegan.
it's a popular
Honestly,
wave.
I've gone back and forth, and it's every time I go back, every time I try to come back to meat, I'm like, ugh, it makes me start feeling sick just looking at it. And I'm not like this super like animal rights activist or anything. I'm not like a super animal rights activist or anything, and it's not like, oh, I can't eat this furry little cow, but it's just at the same time I'm just like, yeah, the meat doesn't taste the same.
Right.
And so I personally am at the point where I'm like, okay, I want to meal prep, but I don't know what should go with what,
Yeah.
like specifically, and what can I eat over and over again that I'm okay with.
Yeah,
That you're not gonna get
that takes
tired of.
That's a process, though, because I have people that have told me I don't like warming up certain stuff, and I just want. Can you deliver every day?
Yeah.
No, that's probably one of the craziest requests I got. Can you warm up my? Can you bring me? I've ordered 10 meals. I'll pay for the 10 meals, but I want you to bring me 2 meals every day. And I'm like, no, that I can't do that. So to piggyback on the question you asked, what's the craziest request I had? And I had a young lady that ordered 10 meals and was like, can you bring me 2 meals every day? I don't want it warm. I don't want them cold. I want it fresh.
So could you do it if she
Wait,
paid you extra?
what?
If you charge for it?
Do
So-
you charge?
So first I didn't do it. Right?
Oh, okay. I was like,
Okay, hold on, like,
I don't have the bandwidth for that, right? I don't have multiple delivery drivers. It's just me and a possible other person. And then secondly, no, I'm not cooking fresh food every day. I can make your 10 meals at one time along with everyone else's at that time frame and deliver it to you. And hopefully you put it in the fridge and take care of
you
your
know
business.
what? He honest. You can see he honest from that last sentence.
The way
because
he said-
anybody else would have made all the meals
No.
and just warmed them up in the microwave.
And be like, yeah, here
and
you
pass
go.
it,
Yeah, I can't do every day.
Yeah.
I got to see you. First of all, I got to see you every day. That means I got to meet up with you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
So
that's a
okay,
lot.
wait. So then, do you have a meal prep day?
So I have multiple days, but the biggest day that I drop off meals, 2 days, is really like Sunday and Monday.
Oh, okay.
And so that's kind of the wave. Like everyone turns in their money. It's a call to action on my Instagram. If you follow me, you'll see Thursday, Friday Eve will be the day, and then tomorrow's like, hey, last day, turn in your money by 7 p.m. Central. So a lot of people see that and they're like, oh, you only deliver on Monday? Actually, I deliver on other days as well, but I prefer to get the bulk amount of the meals
Yeah.
out so I can kind of coast through the week if possible.
And it's
But-
kind of smart for them. It's like, all right, you want a meal plan for the week. This
right.
is your meal plan. We start on Monday,
and you
we
go
go
from
all
there.
the way through. Now, do you do like 5 or do you do like 7 days?
I do both. I mean, it depends on the client and their budget. I mean, 7 is going to cost more than 5, obviously, right? It's a
Yeah.
bigger
Yeah.
number. But most people do, 10 meals. The average client does 10 meals for the week, 2 meals a day. They might take care of their own breakfast. I have clients. I got a young lady now that's a figure competitor, which is, where they get really, really small and they compete in these shows. She's doing 25 meals a week, every week.
Jesus.
Solid. And she is A1. She's very much in shape.
That's a lot of meals.
Well, you
Oh
got
my
to. You actually
God.
have to eat more to build your metabolism
Yeah,
to get
I
it
know,
going, as
but
opposed to eating less.
It's that.
Okay, that's what I wanted to
Yeah,
get
I was
into.
saying
What are
about
the
that.
misconceptions that we have as far as our relationship with food? Like the consumption that we take in, what
Yeah.
type of things do we typically eat within our community that we shouldn't be eating?
I would say the first misconception, thought-wise, would be not eating will help you lose weight, and that's totally false.
Okay.
You actually need to eat a lot of meals or a certain amount of meals to keep the metabolism going, so you're burning those meals off.
Okay.
If you eat once a day, you're actually you're actually messing your metabolism up. And if you look at the word breakfast, it's breaking the fast.
Yeah.
So aside from maybe a bottled water or a shake or something like that, you're breaking the fast, so you're starting your metabolism for the day. And then I guess some of the things that are like not good, like I can grill catfish. Catfish is very fatty. Catfish is not necessary. Well, people
Not
do
a
that.
catfish person.
Yeah, they think that
I am.
wings is not necessarily healthy.
Country.
Drumsticks are healthy, but not wings. So there's a lot of fat, a lot of per.
So you talking about the little part that break apart? So don't
not
do the
the
drumstick.
not the little funny part.
Don't
but
the little wing on
yeah,
it.
but just
Oh,
the
man.
wing in general has
It
a lot
is,
of fat.
it's
all
fat.
the wings out there.
That's. I mean,
It
that's
doesn't matter how
why
you
eat
cook it; it's still more fat.
Uh,
Now drumsticks are a lot good for you, but if you're not getting them fried, you're good. I mean, that's just a couple things. I mean,
so I
there's a
can't
lot
even
of-
be mad at the kids.
What's
now.
the most healthiest part? The healthiest part on the chicken?
the healthiest part on the chicken.
the healthiest part of the chicken?
I don't know. I'm not
Because
a
you just said the
nutritionist.
wing is like.
I mean, drumsticks. The breasts have a tad bit more fat because it's more natural meat, but the drumsticks are only 110 calories a drumstick.
That's it.
The kids
That
winning. They
means
know. That's why they like them drumsticks. That's why.
No flats, all
That's why
drumsticks.
it's easier for them to stay in shape. So okay, so you do meal prep and then you also do training. What are your training services like? Do you do both? Is there like a combination between the two?
So I've consulted a couple of companies to help them kind of grow. One was a
Okay.
meal prep company, one was a fitness company. Like, it's kind of a side I opened up in the last year and a half. It kind of fell in my lap, just like the whole company idea. I had a young lady and another young man that reach out to me via IG, if I'm not mistaken. They were like, your business is growing. You're doing really well. What are you doing? And I said, well, I can do some consulting. I can charge you X amount of dollars per hour, and we can sit down and meet wherever you like to meet. And I can tell you what I did, and I can show you some tools that help me, because I'm not going to just give it to you for free, right?
Right.
But I can definitely show you, and it wasn't ridiculous, but I mean, it was a fair amount that the people paid in order for me to kind of go down a path from A to Z to kind of help them. And so I was able to help those two companies, and they still use my mentorship from time to time, and they're definitely doing really, really well.
I think another big question everybody has, like, when can anyone expect to see results after changing their diet? and training?
So probably like 60 to 90 days, because it's not going to happen immediately. I mean, it takes, 30 days to even form a habit, if I'm not mistaken?
I think it's 22.
21.
21 days?
Well, she know. She gonna
So
make
clo-
sure it's real
yeah,
correct.
close
you
to
know.
30.
But it takes 60 days
But
to
it
break
take-
to break a habit.
Yeah, but in that 60 to 90 day realm is where you're going to start seeing results. So you could eat healthy for 30 straight days. You may lose some weight, but you're not going to see some results that you may be looking
Yeah.
for, where you're actually dropping real body fat percentage until after 2 months. Now, if you're on a crash diet where you're eating very little, because they have people out here that will put a diet together that is very small, then that can actually help you lose a lot of weight, but that's not sustainable. So a sustainable meal plan that actually includes a sufficient amount of meals or protein, ounces of protein, yeah, you can see that in about 2 months.
Do you do consulting though for your new clients that want to, like you said, you have one who does physique training, but what if there's someone who just wants to reach like a certain amount in a certain time, like a realistic amount, like maybe 10, 15
They want to
pounds?
lose 10, I do that all the time.
So you do consulting as far as with the meal plan, you say, okay, this is what we're going to put you on, this is what we're going to have you eat,
Right.
this amount, things like
I'll
that.
sit down with them and figure out what they've been doing first.
Okay.
And then I try to tailor that and curve their mind to figure out what
that
works
makes sense.
best, right? So I say, here's my menu. This is what I offer. I also offer things that are not on the menu. These are things that I think can help you out a lot better, and then I have them pick out what they like. And then sometimes I'll augment that, because like if you like salmon and no tilapia, the whitefish is a lot healthier than salmon. Salmon is good, but it has omega fats. So if you're looking to cut a lot of weight, I can give you 1 or 2 salmon in your 10 or 15 meals, but I can't do all salmon.
Yeah.
So
I always told myself to backtrack. Like if I ever try to get right, just backtrack my diet. Like instead of putting cheese down, don't put cheese, or don't do something different, but just start taking things off. So I just like cut things. I'm like, okay, maybe that'll help.
that's
Do you-
true too.
Do you make meals with dairy in them?
I can, like, really just the breakfast. That's the only thing that I'll put like an egg white omelet, and I might add cheese for my keto people, but not necessarily. It doesn't come with cheese.
Because I'm reason I asked is because I'm trying to make the transition. I really am trying to make this transition. I'm trying so hard. I just keep messing up. But I'm trying to make this vegan transition. But the hardest part is dairy. So what do you see with your clients, the hardest part for them to give up sometimes when you consult them?
Just the things that they're used to. Breaking a habit of 10, 15, 20 years is difficult, right? If you're used to eating soul food every Sunday after church, because that's your cheat meal.
You ain't giving that up.
It'd be really hard because you're used to that. But that's a lot of calories. That's a lot of fat.
And we overeat.
Right.
But you just said though, you know what I mean? You got to get it to get your metabolism boost. You know what I mean?
Nah,
so really helping
that's
you
too
out.
much metabolism.
There's a difference.
That's the wrong type of metabolism.
There's a difference.
Hey, but speaking on that vegan, whatever you do, don't get that vegan cheese though. Oh my God.
There's some
There's some that are good.
There's some things vegan I'm just not too fond of, and then there's some things
Like
vegan.
what? Tofu?
Tofu is.
Do you make anything with tofu?
I can make tofu. I can do some tofu. I'm not a fan of tofu. I'm not a fan of the vegan cheese. Some of the stuff that's processed doesn't taste that great.
Yeah.
Now, if you make it yourself, if someone makes it themselves, whether it's a sauce, whether it's food, then it's all good because they probably tailored it and been doing it repetitively, right? But if it's something that they buy from the store, like I get vegan meatballs, I get vegan chicken, and it actually tastes pretty decent. But there's some things I buy and I'm like, oof. You know, what's that frown face emoji? The green one, the one that looks sick.
They look sick.
Yeah.
Like you ever throw up? It's like, nah, I can't take it.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying. I got not the vegan. I got some tofu and I got the firm tofu. So like a lot of those things that they make, like the fried meatless wings that they want to call them, it's really just like firm tofu that they just make. Like they freeze
but you
it.
could do a meatless taco and it has no tofu. You could do like black beans, mushrooms. There's things you can come up with that will substitute the taste of meat and it's still vegan. That's not an animal product.
The mushrooms, he said, I ain't gonna lie. My wife, you know, she vegan and she had some ribs, but they was mushroom. When I say it tastes just like some ribs, and it was mushrooms.
I never heard
touched.
of that.
I was like, oh my God.
He said I was touched.
He said, oh my God. Okay, so, all right, so that's one thing. Okay.
All the mushrooms.
What else is a good substitute for, because you do the meal plans. So say someone is like, okay, I come to you, I get my 5 meals, but throughout the rest of the week, I need to know what I can eat.
That's like a per person, per client basis because everyone's palate is different.
Okay.
You may like processed meatballs and processed chicken and the vegan cheese. I'm saying, for example, and someone else might be like,
I'm like, nah.
And then you have a lot of people that are like super hard vegans. They like raw vegan stuff. So they like, you know, vegetables. They like tofu. They like some of the stuff that you have to sit at home and make, like grind up the almonds and make that with something. It just really depends on the palate of that person because everyone is so different as far as what they like. Like you said, your wife had some ribs, but they were made out of mushrooms. I've never heard of that. It sounds good. But,
It does sound good.
and I do vegan meals. Sometimes when I have too much vegan stuff left over, I'll put that in my own container and I eat it myself. I'm just not vegan.
He's like, I just can't give up the meat.
I don't know
Let
if
me.
I can give up.
Is it like certain times that people should eat to try to help themselves?
Your body has no clock. You're your own clock.
That's another one of the myths. Like you
Yeah.
gotta only eat certain
Yeah,
times.
like
Don't
eating
eat
during
before
certain
12.
times.
Now, the only reason your trainer or nutritionist or somebody that's in the health field to say don't eat after 7 is because if you're laying down at 9 o'clock and you eat at 8:30,
You ain't
processing
got
that
nothing.
food, that's just going to turn into stored fat because you're laying down. You're not burning any calories. You're not up walking. You haven't done any exercise.
But
Your
if
day
you
is
up to
over.
3, you good.
You might be all right. Not that that's the healthiest, but I mean, because then it goes into the whole not getting enough proper rest. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why they say that because typically, you know, I mean, your average person is laying down between 8:30 and 9 to start their day at 6, 7 o'clock the next morning. So if you're eating after 7, typically that's bad. But they're saying that based on probably a schedule they have you on, but not because eating after 7 is a sin or it's bad. It's just because if they got you up at 6 with your breakfast and then you're eating lunch at 11 and then dinner or whatever, you mid snack at 2 and then dinner at 5, 6, 7 o'clock should be the threshold. It just depends on that person.
Making this transition into being an entrepreneur, what was that like leaving corporate America?
It was rough. It was rough. I'm very, very much a 9-to-5 corporate America guy. So I was used to group insurance for dirt cheap.
Man.
I was used to going to work and the clientele coming to me.
Man.
All the marketing, all the money being
Done
spent
for you.
all the time. Every place I've ever worked, I worked at AT&T before, I worked at ADT, the alarm home company, and I sold cars. Those are my 3 major careers in the sense that I stayed there for years and that people have associated me with. All those are large, huge, multi-million and billion-dollar companies. So you just go to work and clock in and your paycheck is coming on the set days that you're getting paid. It's not like that in the entrepreneur world. Yeah. And I hope that whoever's listening, if they're thinking about switching over, it is not an easy task. You definitely have to go into it with a plan. A young lady that I remember doing business with within my first 6 months, she said, if you don't have 6 to 12 months of your mortgage or rent saved up, don't even bother. Because you never know if your business has to fold. No one wants to think about that, but it's an honest truth. Your business can fold. You could possibly go bankrupt. Some financial strain could be put on you, especially if you're single and you don't share another income with someone else, right? And I'm not married, so that's definitely my category. And so you have to be careful with your finances. If you can't afford an accountant, mama, daddy, somebody that's good with money, you definitely need to have them in your corner because it is key to make sure that you know what you're doing with your finances and making sure you're putting money back, but steady putting money back into the company, but yet marketing, all of those working things. It takes a lot. So that transition was not easy, but it was so rewarding because when you start to see the things that come about from your company, your branding, and I hate to put it on me like it's all me. I mean, my clients keep me in business, obviously, but when you start to see I guess you reap what you sow. When you start seeing what you sow, man, it's a huge feeling. And 2020 has definitely been that for me.
I'm just glad that he put out the thing that he worked for, because, it's a lot of work.
Oh, it's work.
I want to reiterate that it's work.
To be able to maintain and go.
I would love to take a break from social media, but social media kept me in business. That was 65-70% of my clientele the first 6 to 8 months. Now it's like 50% is referral. The rest is like social media and any other category.
Yeah.
Yes, I can't, not necessarily from social media. I can, but I still have to stay relevant in order for people to realize, oh, he's a milk. Oh, I need him, and going from there.
With doing with your business, do you do any social call to action as far as training in schools and things like that? So churches.
I haven't done any. Have I done something with my church? I've done something kind of like I worked with somebody, but schools. I mean, I do career days. I've done several of those, and those are always fun. I'm not a police officer or firefighter, so I don't have the exciting job. But you have some people like, oh, you're
food
a chef?
Is exciting.
Some people feel like it's exciting. Some people they just be sitting in their chair like. What does he want?
No.
So,
every person I know be food. They are foodies.
So I've done some career days with school. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I did something. I can't remember. I've done so many events. I did something with my church a while back, but it was in partnership with another lady that I do business with at my church. And I can't remember exactly what it was. She had my menus and business cards. I wasn't even there. She had a table set up in my tablecloth. It was perfect because I didn't have to be there, but I don't remember what the event was.
So for 2020, can people book you to come in and actually talk about meal prep and the importance of food? And
talk about nutrition, healthy tips, definitely store visits, all of that. Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Okay, now are you in a brick and mortar? Where are you at?
So I'm still currently out of my home. I'm actually looking for a kitchen as we speak. I have an appointment tomorrow morning. To speak with this young lady, because I'm at a point where I've expanded so much, I don't have any more room.
Yeah. And
so I need to be able to have industrial kitchen setting so I can do the amount of food that I'm doing in a shorter period of time, but have room to store it. Because it's I'm out of room. Seriously. I'm at capacity.
Really?
Seriously.
Now, I saw that you were actually in a gym, though. Mm-hmm. Where's your Core?
Yeah,
Where's
the Core
that
Gym. It's right. I don't have the address in front of me, but it's right there between 59 and 610, just on the other side of Boudreaux's.
Okay.
Well, it's on the same side as Boudreaux's. It's right there. We're in the loop in a sense.
Okay.
And so the owner and I have kind of worked out a deal where they buy the meals and then they're placing it in their fridge. So they have several different meal prep companies and people they buy food from. I just happen to be one of them. So if you work out at the Core and you see the Rich Fit logo on top of the container, please support.
If you don't buy it for yourself, buy it for somebody else who didn't make it to the gym.
Donate some food. We take it all.
Now, where can we find you at?
So social media is Rich Fit Foods 1 on Facebook, Rich Fit Foods 1 on Instagram. My website is richfitfoods.com.
What about you? I mean, we're going into Valentine's Day season. He's a single man. He's got a company.
Right.
Look, I'm trying to get all my friends out here in a relationship because I mean,
my Facebook is Steven Richmond.
Don't let them use you for the food though.
Yeah, they can't use me for the food. Now they got to pay.
We're not talking about that. We're trying to get him a date. Oh my gosh. All right, Steven Richmond on Facebook, and how can we find you on Instagram?
It's Rich Fit Foods one. I have a personal IG.
He's like, look, I'm not telling you what it is.
Yeah, the personal IG never gets any hits. It's like a couple of hundred people.
It's just like family.
Maybe. My mom's not on IG. She on Facebook, so it's all good.
Oh, okay, good.
She be that's great, my son. Hey, mama.
I love it. Well, thank you for being here with us. Again, guys, Steven Richmond, Rich Fit Foods. It is the perfect time of the year for you to get it together. It's never too late. You can get your meal plans. You don't have to worry about cooking because I know most of y'all don't want to cook. I mean, and some of y'all can't cook, and y'all may be thinking you're eating something healthy and cooking it the wrong way.
And microwave ain't cooking.
Look, you can't steamable everything into success. Nah, it's not gonna work. So just go ahead and patronize. It's Black owned. It's community based. So make sure that you reach out to Get Rich Food. I can't even say it. Rich Fit Foods. Oh my God. Get my life together. Rich Fit Foods. That's what it is. Because in my brain, it's like, what? No, Rich Foods Food. Thank you so much, Stephen, for being here with us.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all for having me. Always glad to come see y'all.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Make sure that you guys stick around with us. We have more on KickN IT Radio.
You're kicking it with G on your favorite station.
The perfect station.
92 KELZ, the only station with new music, new artists, new sound.